Have you ever wondered why things don't go as you planned, despite your best efforts? Well, you're not alone. It's a common human experience. We all have had moments when we've put our heart and soul into something, only to see it crumble. It's confusing, it's frustrating, and often it leaves us questioning why. But here's a thought. What if these unexpected turns and twists are part of a grand design? An unseen picture that we're yet to fully comprehend. This is where the concept of faith comes in, trusting in God's plan, even when things don't seem to make sense. There's a beautiful verse in the Bible, in Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." Yes, it may seem confusing or even frustrating when our plans fail, but remember, there's a bigger picture that we can't see, and that's God's plan. Sometimes the best things in life are the ones we didn't plan for. Let that sink in for a moment. Life has a peculiar way of throwing curveballs at us, doesn't it? But what if I told you that these unexpected twists and turns are not random, but rather integral parts of a grander plan, a divine plan? Let's dive into an inspiring real-life story. Picture a person, let's call her Jane. Jane had dreams, aspirations, plans, but as she ventured on her journey, she was met with a series of failures and disappointments. Each setback felt like a punch to the gut, leaving her questioning her worth, her path, her choices. But Jane held on to something crucial during this turbulent phase, her trust in God's plan. Despite the hardships, Jane persevered. She weathered the storm, believing that these trials were not meant to break her, but to shape her. And as time passed, Jane began to see a pattern emerge from the chaos. The failures, the disappointments, they were leading her down a different path, a better path. This path was not one Jane had planned for, but it was the one designed for her. Jane found success, not by her definition, but by a divine one. Her story is a testament to the Bible, verse Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Jane's journey reminds us that the divine plan is not always clear to us. It's like a puzzle, each piece fitting together to form a beautiful picture, a picture that only becomes clear when all the pieces are in place. So remember, when life takes an unexpected turn, it's not a detour, but a new direction. A direction that leads us to the best possible outcome. As you can see, God's plan may not always be clear to us, but it always leads us to the best possible outcome. Now you might be wondering, how do I trust in God's plan? Well, trust is not something that comes easily. It's a journey, a process that requires patience and persistence. But let me tell you, it's a journey worth taking. So, how do you embark on this journey of trust? First and foremost, pray. That's right, pray. Seek guidance from God. When you're unsure or when things get tough, turn to prayer. It's a powerful tool that connects you directly to God. You see, prayer is not just about asking for things, but it's also about listening. It's about hearing God's whispers in the silence of your heart. Secondly, immerse yourself in God's Word. Read the Bible. Meditate on its teachings. The Bible is not just a book, but a guide, a roadmap to life. It's filled with stories of people who trusted in God's plan and were rewarded for their faith. Let these stories inspire you. Let them guide you. Next, seek wise counsel. Surround yourself with people who can provide you with guidance and support. People who can encourage you to trust in God's plan. Remember, we are not meant to walk this journey alone. We are designed to be in community, to learn from one another, to support and uplift each other. Now, all this may not be easy. Trusting in God's plan may be challenging, especially when things don't go as planned. But let me assure you, it brings peace. It brings assurance. It brings the comforting knowledge that everything will work out for the best. And why is that? Simply because God has a plan for you. A plan that is far greater than anything you could ever imagine. Remember the words from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." So the next time your plans don't go as expected, remember to trust in God's plan. It may not be what you had in mind, but it's always the best plan for you.